Jessie Rodger joins me now, Executive Director of Anova, an organization that provides shelter, counseling, and resources for those impacted by gender-based violence. She's just outside the London courthouse. Thank you for being with us. I want to start by getting your reaction to a number of things we've heard from the judge so far, beginning with her saying that EM's evidence was not reliable or credible in her view. Your thoughts?
It is frustrating and infuriating, but not surprising that that's the conclusion that was come to.
She also said that EM appeared sober in those two called consent videos. She said, and I just want to read directly the quote, "While speaking on the video, EM does not display any signs of intoxication. She has no difficulty speaking. She is not slurring her words and speaks clearly and coherently." Your thoughts?
Incredibly frustrating and a complete lack of trauma and violence-informed
A complete lack of what? A lack of what, sorry?
Of trauma and violence-informed lens. Like, people don't always look the same when they are intoxicated. People don't always look the same when they're scared. People don't always look the same when they're terrified about what's going to happen next. And so being able to sort of determine that she was not slurring her words and she was presenting in a certain way meant that she was sober and she was actively consenting is such a problem.
You know, this has generated a lot of conversation around not just consent, but the willingness of victims to come forward. I think it's safe to say I think we kind of know the direction the judge is going.
Yes.
We haven't heard from her formally, formal ruling, but what will it mean ultimately for people who are thinking about going to the authorities and sharing their story with what has happened to them? What will be the impact of this verdict in your eyes?
The impact will be far-reaching, and we've already heard it. We hear it from survivors every single day at our sexual assault center and sexual assault centers across the country. They rarely report to police. They rarely ask about pressing charges. They rarely engage with the legal system because justice is not something that is attainable to them. And watching this happen is just a reaffirmation of that. And so I'm very worried and very sad for EM, but I am terribly worried for the number of victims and survivors who are watching and listening all across the country.
You're worried?
Yes. I'm worried that they won't come forward and get the help that they need. I'm worried that they don't think that people will believe them. I'm worried that they are going to be isolated and going to be made to feel like this is their fault when it's not. And so I think it's important for advocates like myself and my colleagues who are here today to remind people, to remind our communities that you will be believed. There are places that are ready to listen to you and to hear you and to support you with whatever it is that you need for your healing journey, whether that's going to police or not.
Jessie, I'm really glad you could take the time to speak with us. Jessie Rodger is the Executive Director of Anova, an organization that provides shelter, counseling, and resources for those impacted by gender-based violence.